about exposés of hers. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you very much, Tabila.
Now, Chriselda, this has been the year of exposés for you. I mean, week in, week out, month on month, we were getting something really massive from you. Were those exposés intentional? Did you really sit down and say, I'm going to get the bad guys this year?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I think it's part of our responsibility at the SABC to hold people to account if they're not doing their jobs in whatever position that they're doing that. So we really rely on communities to come forward with some of these things. We certainly cannot be everywhere. And, some of the exposés certainly that we looked at, when we look at education post-1994, one of the investigations that we did was really shocking to find conditions, I beg your pardon, where children are still learning under trees. And, the education department expressing shock that these conditions actually still do exist in the blistering sun, in the cold as well. You've got some of these learners that are sitting under trees and trying to get an education. So we really went out to go and look at specific things that the SABC could focus on in our quest, of course, to continue with investigations within our news department. And most of those that we looked at, the embarrassment, for example, at Kentucky Fried Chicken, we're looking at a massive brand here that has been in the food business for the longest time. And for that to have been happening just in the backyard of the SABC really was something that consumers found shocking, even though that was defended by the management at Kentucky Fried Chicken. But certainly one of the ooh-ah moments, if I can say, one of the big stories that certainly did make headlines.
Chriselda, something that I found striking in what you just said is communities having to come forward and really help, in the fight against crime in South Africa.
Yes.
Now, how critical has the assistance of communities been for you specifically? Have people come forward to you knowing that you are a seasoned journalist, come to you and say, listen, I've seen this happening, or I am in this situation, help me?
With the SABC and the reach that it has in terms of news coverage, certainly communities have been coming forward in all the different provinces with a number of challenges, and certainly we can't get to every single one of them, but those that we could get to, the issue relating to drugs, we know how Nyaupe has become one of the dangers to young people in this country. And to find a story, for example, like the one that we covered, where you've got street vendors or drug lords masquerading as street vendors, is really alarming, because in the streets of Johannesburg everything is a hustle. So you'd find on every street corner everybody selling fruits, but not everybody is doing it above board. So it was really interesting to find, and the communities are certainly people who alert us to these things. Every single one of those investigations, certainly this is part one, but every single one of those investigations is as a result of communities that believe that the SABC will be able to assist, whether it's to try and assist with getting rid of some of these drug dealers who are feeding their children with these drugs, or whether it's a KFC, I guess,
that we no longer eat.
I guess.
Chriselda, we're running out of time, but I can't let you go without asking you this. What about your safety? Have you had instances where those implicated in your stories threatened to retaliate?
Oh, no, absolutely. But it's the work of a journalist. Certainly it has to be done. Journalists are not people who are meant to have bodyguards. This is what we do. The support is overwhelming, but the safety issue as well. I mean, the SABC has played a critical part in ensuring that its journalists are safe. We do receive a certain level of assistance when it comes to that. And of course, very crucially, is before every situation that we go into, we make sure that the risk is not that risky, if I make sense at all.
You are making a lot of sense.
Yeah, but certainly a risk is something that comes with this business, and we're much like police officers. When everybody's running away from a situation or a scene, we're the ones who are going into it.
You're doing some great work. Thank you so much, Chriselda. We'll have to leave it there. I know there's a part 2 that's going to happen sometime during this week, so we will keep you posted on that, and we'll have you back in the studio. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
That was our reporter, Chriselda Lewis, giving us a breakdown of some of her major exposés.